Test. Test.
Me, mo, mo, me, mo, mo, mo.
Test.
I got arrested.
Yeah! Welcome back to Whisky and Wifi, everybody! This is Derek Perry. We're here with
Rodney Strong Chesterfield.
and we have a guest here today. His
Special
name-
guest to the studio, first time.
Oh, we love it. Our first male guest of the show. I don't know why that's so funny. Kevin! We're just going to call him Kevin. Hey, say hey to everybody, Kevin.
Hello.
Kevin.
These are all your friends.
Oh, yeah.
So don't worry.
Yeah, no.
We have
all
8
three
people,
listeners.
maybe.
Yes.
We
They don't
might
even
have
listen
8.
to the new ones anymore. So
No.
no one's
Alright.
going to listen to this.
It's summer. They have things to do.
That's true.
But we're here. We're still reading the news for everybody. It's quite depressing, but not as it's not as depressing
That's
as
the tone going down over the last few weeks.
well, you know what one good thing is? Here's some good news to start off the show with. My Baltimore Orioles. You know how they had to shut down the stadium during those riots 2 weeks ago? They decided to pay everybody for the games they moved out of Baltimore, like all their employees that lost out money because of that. I thought that was cool. So I'm going to start off this week with some positive news about the Baltimore Orioles, the team I love, who needs to fucking get on a winning streak because they fucking suck right now, but that's neither here nor there.
How is Baltimore doing these days?
Well, I talked to our friend who lives in Baltimore, and he's like, oh, it's pretty normal. 10 people got murdered last night, so, you know, that's the way.
10 people got murdered? Like, was that real?
He was joking around.
Okay.
You know,
That sucks.
You know who this person is. But he's like, it's back to its old, sometimes terrible ways, but, you know. I talking about Baltimore, I feel like it's calmed down for now, but when they have the verdict in however many months, that shit's gonna blow up again. You know?
I don't see that. It's gonna happen again. Like, yeah, you're right.
Like just this week, the Wisconsin verdict on the guy who got shot up there, there were no charges, and people started protesting again. And that's the thing, people don't realize like these things will happen, and then the legal system is set up in such a way that it's really hard to prosecute people in these cases. So the odds are people aren't going to be happy when they learn.
Well, there was
you
that
can't
one
get
case in
prosecuted.
South Carolina, though, where the guy got...
Well, that video was.
So I think I'm
Probably-
running away and they just gunned him down.
Yeah, that was probably the clearest and worst.
That's why they
video
need
I've
more
ever
videos,
seen.
right? They need
Oh,
those
yeah.
body cameras.
The body
I
camera.
think that's the perfect reason to have body cameras. It's like it protects the cops, so if they do what is right, there's like... Because then if there's this guy attacking him and trying to like steal his gun and he shoots him and it's on camera, it's like, well, folks, like, how do
What you got?
Yeah, how do you defend this person, whether they're white, Hispanic, black, whatever, and the cops white, Hispanic, black, whatever.
Yeah.
But if you it's his word against a dead person, people are never
Yeah.
going to be too happy about someone using deadly force.
Um,
They use it way too much, though.
I actually
regardless.
read online, I saw it was a primer, like basically like what to do if you find yourself like in a situation where you see something going on, like what to do and like how to go about filming it. And one of the things they said was don't post the video anywhere until the police report's in. So then if they do try to lie about it, then you're just like you know what I mean, they've already committed to a story and they didn't know someone videotaped it and they said then like bring it out so then like they can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I was like,
Don't
like,
boast about having the video.
yeah, it was like, yeah, that was one. It was just like making sure that a report has been submitted and then submit your video because then they can't try to change what they said.
Eventually, I feel like, how quickly technology is shrinking, because that makes a lot of sense. Like, it keeps shrinking, get faster and better. Like,
You have the
eventually-
iWatch coming out.
Well, that
That
thing
came
sucks, right?
Yeah, okay.
I heard that sucks.
I haven't
I didn't
seen
mean
it.
to distract you, but
Yeah.
I've
I
seen
know.
it with the Samsung watch.
Samsung watches are pretty popular. Like they've come out with a few generations of them. There's
But-
one that actually you can get with like a data plan.
I mean, imagine as that stuff gets smaller and smaller, like, eventually people are going to have cameras that cops don't even realize they really have
Oh yeah.
on them. And, I mean,
well,
you might as well just be honest about what's going on, right?
the technology is definitely there to put these things on
Like
police
nipple
officers. Like there's
Just
cameras,
nipple cameras.
that are tinier that we used to use in the television industry that we could give to police officers. They're probably not cheap, and you know how it's a,
Or just make like make an entire cops channel, like that old show Cops.
Couldn't you just have like a cell phone that's like hooked right here, just like streaming?
I think
You can do a lot of stuff.
Probably to like their car.
I'm surprised no one's done is like a
Car
cash
grab.
grab. Like someone's like, "Hello, we will sell like you like 100,000 body cameras
Yeah, there you go.
like
Make some
now,
Dude, I
like we
thought-
have them. Buy them now from us. Buy them now. Buy like the, you know what I
It's
mean?
not just that. I thought about like kind of that same idea. Like, you know how I think in the county next to us, they have a lot more cameras, don't they?
They have
Around?
Wi-Fi.
Don't they have cameras?
They have a lot of cameras. Yeah.
And here we have like none. And I always thought it'd be interesting if they had like hooked up with a company and had this special on like cameras that people could buy for their home properties, like a special deal because it's like so many people getting offered the same deal at the same time. They'd be like, oh, you would get it for your own property so you can monitor your own property, but then it would also possibly give the city the ability to tap in and see it. So basically,
Yeah.
a bunch of people that cared about their property would all of a sudden have video surveillance, and then it would build an infrastructure for the city to use also to monitor criminal activity, and all of a sudden it would help subsidize it, make it cheaper for the homeowners, and make it easier for them to monitor what's going
You
on.
sound like one of those NSA motherfuckers. You want to record every move? Is that what's going on?
It is terrifying.
Videos?
Yeah, I'm just really.
I'm terrified, but then sometimes I'm like on both sides. It's like sometimes I think I really don't think I have that much to hide. If someone really looked at me honestly, I think like, oh, who's he gonna like? What's he gonna do? Like, pretty innocent guy. At the same time, I don't like the idea of people just prying into my everyday life because that sounds weird.
That is the weird balancing act that we have to kind of deal with. But on that, we can talk about what's happening this week with the Patriot Act. I don't know if you saw Rand Paul and a few other people, even some Democrats, that came together to oppose the renewal of the Patriot Act because of things the NSA is doing and other weird permissions that were given to the legislator and the executive branch.
Do you think
because of
that's
the
gonna
Patriot Act.
happen?
Well, here's what is happening now: is they're passing something called the U.S. Freedom Act,
It's like the same.
and it's actually worse. Like I've been reading, like they're changing the language where it sounds like they're giving them actually more permission to do things they shouldn't be doing.
Great.
But that's the funny thing is because it all feels like theater. We've talked about this before, like this political theater. It's like, oh, we're on your side. We hear you complaining. And then because we don't like actually, a lot of us don't follow up with the news or read actual bills that get passed. It's like, oh, you've actually made things worse, and you lied to us. And by that time, like the bill's already passed.
They're like, hey, the McRib's back, huh?
Exactly.
How about whoa?
I feel like it's insulting that they will just name these bills like these little catchphrases and these little buzzwords,
And that's
and
not
then they'll
big.
change it into another buzzword, and it'll just be like, oh, this is much better. I'm like, fucking read the news or let somebody read these bills for you and tell you what's going on.
It really shouldn't be that easy to do, but it is.
That's the sad part, right? Like, what the fuck's going on?
I get so pathetic how big a lot of these bills are, and they openly admit that they haven't read every page.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they have other people telling them what's kind of in them, and it's like, what wait, you're
And
not
then-
even fucking reading them? And then there's all this random shit they throw in that has nothing related to what they're even talking about.
You got fucking K Street, which is the lobby street.
Oh, the
They
the
literally write
corrupt, the
the
bribers?
bills. Yeah, the bribers. They write
They
the
should call it
bills, and
Bribe
they-
Street.
And they tell the legislators to vote on this because, you know, they're basically bribed to do so. And they don't even write the bills. They don't even read the bills. They're like, we're going to write this bill, you're going to put it in this bill, and you're going to pass it if you want to have this, you know, political leverage going forward in the future. Like, if you want us to fund your next campaign or whatever. It drives me crazy.
It does. It's fucking, it's very...
But, I mean, it's just so blatant. They're literally, like, there's... I should have an example, obviously, but they are literally writing the bills that are being passed in Congress now. Outside
least-
people,
at
not the
least-
Congress people.
At least
Special
sometimes.
interests, a lot of times.
I need to get some special interests.
Well, that's what...
I need to align mine with
You
theirs.
said that you want to start a successful business, fucking just start lobbying and somehow find an area to lobby Washington to give you some business and you'll make a lot of money there, marketing wise. It's like
I mean, it seems to be cheaper than like trying to buy
turn on your
TV time.
dollar.
Like seriously, what do you think would be cheaper, Super Bowl ad or a congressman?
I mean, depending on what
That's a
business you're in,
very good point, sir.
I
So
mean,
we're talking
return
like-
on your dollar. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
telling
what
you,
I
think
mean,
one
like-
of the
That's what I mean. It's like, you know, you're looking at 150 million for what, a 3-second spot on TV, which
that
realistically, how much more business are you going to get? Like, are people unaware of Budweiser? But yeah, like, you know what I mean? It's like you pay $1.5 million.
Dude, I'm sure it'd be a lot cheaper just to try to corrupt.
And like, you
some
could probably just give
government.
a government official like what, like $100,000, and he'll just do everything for you. He'll outlaw your competitors.
Just grease his asshole.
That's a super awesome point. I don't
No,
know.
a lot of them do that.
No, but I didn't even think of it that way. I'm like, it is much easier to just buy
I
a
mean, that's
politician
way more
than
cost effective.
do the TV thing.
I'm pretty sure a lot of the companies that advertise in the Super Bowl are also doing that.
That's true.
Because there's like, oh, well, we got that in the bag, so we might as well spend some of that money we're making from all this business we're getting.
While we're talking about corrupt motherfuckers, I'm going to bring up the story about, I'm just going to read it. 5 of the world's top banks are reportedly set to plead guilty to a number of fraud and antitrust charges in the United States.
I think that happens every other week.
According to the New York Times, Barclays, JP Morgan Chase, Citigroup, and the Royal Bank of Scotland will together pay billions of dollars in fines and plead guilty to the rigging.
How much damage did they do? That would be. So how much money did they make off doing it? That's always
That
the
is
interesting part.
what we need to find
They
out
leave that
here.
out. It's like, oh, they probably made.
They're like, oh, cool. Like, we'll make some more. Don't worry. Like, what is it? We'll just get more money. We're the bank.
We'll just rig the system again and get the
We
money
just
back.
will get it.
In money.
And what they do, what bugs me most of the time is they'll settle, they'll just plead guilty, they'll settle for less, and it's kind of a drop in the bucket for them compared to how much money they're making. Like they're paying millions of dollars of fines, which add up to maybe $1 billion conglomerately or like combined cumulatively,
Yeah.
but each of them should be paying like several $1 billion
Or
each.
just not be banks anymore.
Yeah.
It's like you're really breaking a lot of laws. There's a lot of other shit that we know you're doing that's all because banks are really hard to regulate and the level of complication, especially today because of all the different investment vehicles and I mean it's so crazy. I mean, and as banks come up with new ways to create loans and invest money, whether it's not just banks but financial institutions, hedge funds, different agencies that are creating these investment vehicles or whatever, they are teaching the regulators like what they're doing and saying, oh, this is what we're doing and this is why you should give it a AAA rating and let us trade it, you know, like.
You're like, oh,
And then,
that's a really good idea.
And how much return you get? Oh, this looks really good.
Oh, you mean it just keeps making more money?
And it's like, wait, oh, you're my buddy I used to work at Goldman Sachs with. Oh, what's up, bro? Do this.
You're like, wait, you mean you just turn money into more money and then it's just forever?
Wait, you're gonna lend a bunch of people that have no money $50,000 for a car, then chop up those loans and package them all together, kind of like we did with the subprime mortgage thing. We're gonna do that with car loans now. This is a good idea.
This worked perfectly well in
That's what we're doing
2007.
right now. It's like they're selling a bunch of junk fucking car loans.
You touched on 2 things that I want to now like extrapolate on. Is that the word? Yes. Fucking the news doesn't cover it enough. Like I had to go
It's a little side note.
I had to go to democracynow.org, which is kind of just like an independent news source that I like.
Well, that must mean it's not the truth. It's not relevant.
They're not paid by the
And,
banks that want to keep this quiet.
And
So that drives me crazy.
they
'Cause,
probably have no idea what they're talking about.
I mean, they're literally pleading guilty to fraud and antitrust charges. Back in like 1918 when they did the antitrust thing, that was like the biggest thing of the day. Now it's just like, oh, that's like small news.
Kim Kardashian has a new app.
Oh my god, don't even get me started on all that.
Well, that's
But-
what's happening.
The other thing is...
Idiocracy. The movie is coming true.
I'm kind of glad. I was talking about it with someone recently. Like, I'm kind of glad Kim Kardashian's there because I feel like she kind of became the sponge to soak up all of America's attention. Where it's like, you know, they used to like harass celebrities with like didn't want to be bothered, but now it's like we have people like that that are like, if you just pay attention to me, I will let you film me all day. Like,
I see what you're saying.
and I feel like we haven't seen them harass like a Britney Spears lately. Like that hasn't happened.
Did you guys, speaking of celebrities getting harassed, you guys hear about Johnny Depp and his dogs in Australia?
I
They're
saw
gonna
a headline.
what, exterminate them?
Basically, that's what they're threatening because he didn't claim them when he got there because he's filming the new Pirates of the Caribbean, the 5th one.
Oh, I didn't know they were doing
And they
that.
fuck it. So he flies back there because apparently he had to have, like TMZ reporter, he had to get hand surgery. So he flew back from California with his 2 little Yorkshire Terriers, and the government or some agency saw them in a picture that his wife or girlfriend or whatever posted on social media of the dogs of their groomer there, and like, you didn't see you had dogs. So they took them and quarantined them and said, yeah, if they didn't get them out of the country in 72 hours, they're going to exterminate them.
Holy Lord.
And it's just like, really? Like, you can't test them, give them like a really big fine,
Yeah, he's got to pay for everything.
Yeah, test them, make sure everything's cool, and if they're cool, because you have these dogs in your country, it's not that you don't have Yorkshire Terriers, like...
Can't he send them back or something? Like,
I'm sure he did, I'm
that's,
sure
that's
he
just a weird
saved them.
situation, yeah.
But like, who does that? Who's like, we're gonna just kill your dogs?
I don't know why I'm laughing, but it's just so ridiculous.
And then we're gonna eat them.
What are you doing? We're gonna throw them away.
Kebab.
We're gonna put them in a trash bag.
We're gonna make a
throw 'em
kebab
out.
out of them. Kebabs are delicious.
I don't think I'd want to mess with Johnny Depp though. I feel like if he killed his dogs, like just to prove a point, I
He has
don't
enough
think.
money and power.
Yeah, he's got enough to like really.
You know he knows
ruin
some
you.
people.
He'll just buy whatever town that was in and then just destroy it.
He just sets it on fire.
It becomes like a villain.
No.
It becomes part of the backdrop of Caribbean 5.
I think it's like in Gold Coast, Australia, so that's a pretty nice area. I don't think he's gonna be able to do that, but he's not that rich.
I feel like it was just maybe it was a shakedown. Just like throw us $100.
$100. I'd be like 10 grand a puppy,
Listen, you brought these in here. Just throw some money.
20 grand. He's probably spending so much money just being over there.
I have no idea how much money Johnny Depp has.
Dude, I'm just thinking if you're a movie star at that level, you just live like a boss.
Do you even you probably just float around like.
Well, you don't question. I'm sure you don't question how much things cost. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, I want a
Do you think-
6-bedroom house on the beach. Okay. Just
If you were that bad, would you just wear clothing once and never wear it again?
no. I'm
Really?
not that type of guy. I wouldn't just be wasteful.
I feel like
like
it was
that.
just.
I'd probably get rid of clothes a lot quicker and be and get new ones, but I wouldn't just be like, oh, I wore this suit once, throw it away. No.
No, I mean t-shirts and jeans.
No, I don't think
Really?
I'm just not that type of person.
You just go to the airport and then when you get to your new place, cool, just go pick up some t-shirts and jeans, and then when I leave
wouldn't
the city.
I don't like shopping that much.
I don't like
wouldn't
shopping that much either,
Yeah,
but-
I
No, you
find
send
something
someone to do it. You send someone
Oh,
to do
there
it.
you go.
You're just look, just go. That way, if you have nice stuff you need to carry with you, fine. But that's what would I'm just saying would the burden
No,
of
you
purchasing?
keep trying to change it, and I'm saying no. I wouldn't just throw out the clothes. I'd have clothes, and they'd be nice clothes. I'm sure I'd replace them more quickly than I do now.
I just don't think I'd want to carry around clothes all the time.
I'd probably just have.
You travel without luggage? That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the idea. You get to travel without luggage.
That's a
Well, I'd
beautiful
probably
thing.
end up just owning houses in places that I'm just traveling to and just have shit there. So you wouldn't have to travel with anything because it would just always be there. Because you could just have a house in Australia.
Yeah, you could just never stop moving. You could just continue to change where you're living.
I'm not like that. I'm
Be
a
a
homebody. I
vagabond.
like to have homes. I would definitely fucking just buy at badass places.
By the way, he's worth $400 million according
Oh
to
my fucking god!
$400 million.
That's what
Wow.
fuck you money.
Yeah, that is a lot of money.
I mean, reading this.
You can't even. I don't even know how you spend that much money. Just be like.
That's what I
"Alright."
mean. Does he just not have homes? He just keeps going from the nicest.
But he keeps making more money.
Yeah.
He continues to probably make more money than he's spending.
I remember they were
so-
talking about the Passion of the Christ came out. They're like, Mel Gibson could make $1 billion from this, and I was like, but he's already really rich. What is he gonna do
That
with
was not-
another
dude, he
billion
like-
dollars?
I don't know the guy. Maybe he's a really nice guy, but some of those audio clips and things that came out, he seemed like he was off the reservation.
No, he's
Probably.
He's not doing well. He has too much money too. I don't know.
Probably-
He
there's
has
probably-
kids, right?
There's probably a good. I mean, he hasn't really been surrounded by normal people for most of his life.
That's the weird thing about some of these celebrities that you see
People
losing.
just suck their dicks everywhere they go.
Yeah,
you're
even Michael
not-
Jackson, when he was still alive, when he started losing it, I was just
They're like,
like,
you're the best ever. You're the greatest.
And-
And idolize them
yeah.
everywhere.
it's not even that, it's that everyone around him wanted something. Because Michael Jackson was a moneymaker, and these people just saw the ability to get money off of him.
Oh yeah, that would be really easy.
And so you can't trust anybody then as being that star. Or you can, but some people can't handle it, and obviously Mel Gibson probably couldn't handle it.
I mean, I imagine he was famous for 30 years, and it's just everywhere he goes, people are just like. I mean, you probably end up really.
His
weird.
dad was using him back then. Are you talking about Michael Jackson or
Any of the people
Yeah.
that are really famous their entire life. Tom Cruise even, I imagine that's a really weird thing to go through.
Yeah. So. Anyway,
You probably haven't been disappointed for do you imagine he probably Tom Cruise probably wasn't disappointed for 6 years. Probably went through 6 years without experiencing disappointment in any way.
I don't know. I think everything's relative. Because even if you get accustomed to that, I think you'd still probably have
maybe
good
some
days and
kind
bad
of
days.
personal issue, maybe family.
I think you still just have shit. It's just,
Leathers.
It's just hit when he would say, if he would tell us his problems, it'd probably be like, he's like, oh my god, he's like, the paint's starting to fade on my Ferrari.
But I mean, it was just like,
He gets
you're,
sucked into Scientology, though.
like, look back, like, I mean, he probably put together a pretty, like, solid 5-6 year run where it's just like, another great movie, everyone loves me, boom, like,
That's
you're
true.
crushing it. Maybe not specifically him, but I feel like you put
And his
together, like,
entourage probably told him that, too.
and you probably just insulated yourself
What
from
about
anything
Entourage?
bad. That's what I mean,
Was
like,
that, who was that, Mark Wahlberg? That was
Yeah.
about him?
that movie's coming out.
Oh,
You can probably insulate yourself. Yeah, it's coming out in like 2 weeks, dude.
I thought that was done.
No, they went away. They came back with a movie.
I
It's
don't think I
gonna be out
ever
in
watched
2
the
weeks.
last season of Entourage.
It wasn't very good.
I mean,
It was just
I
like
feel
everything worked
I
out.
feel like the first few seasons wasn't.
I feel like that's what most of that show was.
Yeah.
Except
It's
for
just
that one
supposed to be
season.
about like everything works out.
Towards the end, you like started doing coke and shit, and it got a little raw. And then what
Yeah,
happened?
it got weird. Then he got out of rehab and
Fine.
just everything was fine.
Oh,
Like
that's
everything.
fucking lame. I thought it was gonna just be dark.
No, he just got out of rehab and started smoking weed again, and he was cool and going out and drinking.
Oh,
He
shit.
was cool, man. Got his career back on track.
Somebody that
Became the
wants
biggest
to
movie
react.
star in the world.
Again.
Became the biggest. Yeah, it became everything was working out for everybody. E got married.
To Sloane.
He married. I think they have a kid. Maybe I don't remember.
He's like, yeah,
Turtle started making money on his own. I think they brought back that Viking, or no, that and the older brother Johnny Drama. He got his own cartoon. So everyone, like everything worked out for everybody in the end.
Oh, shit.
And now they're making a movie to talk about, I guess, how great it's been.
They're just gonna show him getting blowjobs.
Yeah, an hour and a half of blowjobs and
Yeah.
It's actually a
I
porno.
I bought a new car.
Oh, Ari became the biggest agent in the world.
Everything just worked out for
Everything literally best case scenario for everybody.
everyone. That one dude died on a golf course towards the end of that series, right?
But he was a bad guy.
Yeah,
You got to see one of his bad guys, his villains
just
die.
like, boom in the golf course.
everything's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, they're actually out
Everything
with
is
Phil
wonderful.
Mickelson.
Oh.
It was Phil Mickelsen's there and the dude dies.
Oh.
Yep.
Speaking of people getting killed, how
Oh.
about Osama bin Laden getting killed?
Ugh, I remember when that happened.
What happened?
What really happened? Man, when that happened, it was such big news. And I'm thinking back, I remember it was a Phillies game. It was a Sunday night baseball game. Where were you when Osama bin Laden was killed?
I have no idea.
You don't remember? I remember because we went out and got ice cream, and I thought that was weird.
You got ice cream to celebrate?
We just wanted ice cream.
Okay.
But we're like,
that makes me feel better.
we all just looked, it was me and my two roommates, we looked at each other like, you guys want to get ice cream? We're like, yeah, they killed Osama bin Laden, let's go get ice cream.
Oh.
Halftime top up. Halftime top up. It is dry in Pakistan, isn't it? Too dry, if you ask me. Do you see where I'm going with this, Rodney?
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Because there used to be a lot of Osama bin Laden's blood, but now there is not, and now we don't know the story.
There's no
I'm
blood.
drunk. I'm clearly drunk.
I had no idea where you were going.
Neither did I. As soon as I said that.
It's like it's dry. It's dry. Like
Anyway, the point is,
Queen Elizabeth's sandy vagina.
who?
It's very dry. Queen Elizabeth.
Oh, poor Queen. Anyway, this week it was reported by Mr. Hirsch. What's his first name? Do you have it there?
Seymour.
Seymour Hirsch. That the story we got about Osama bin Laden's death was not the story that really happened. Allegedly.
He claims that Pakistanis had been essentially holding bin Laden captive in
For what, 5
Abbottabad
years?
compound for years, since like
5
2006.
If this is true, it's well. Continue.
Well, they also claimed he claimed the CIA learned of bin Laden's location from a Pakistani intelligence official who tipped off American operatives, and he was hoping to claim the $25 million bounty that was on his head. So,
Holy
and
shit.
we kind of claimed that we did it all on our own and figured
And
out who
then-
his personal carriers were.
We kind of made up a story that Obama get reelected, possibly.
Yeah, it was right before his election. The economy was in the shitter. Nothing was really going well. Like
He was getting a lot of.
like that was a
blowback.
huge victory. And then there was apparently no firefight during the SEAL raid.
One of the things they reported was
Yeah, that there's a machine gun fire chopped him in half.
Yeah.
Did you read that? They were talking about the corpse, and they said basically just like the amount of, like, instead they said it was like 1 or 2 shots, but I guess they said, like, this report reported that it was like the machine gun, like basically all the machine gun fire cut him in half.
So they just kept shooting him.
Yeah, they just unloaded on him and shot him in half.
Yeah,
And the report we heard was that, he was cowering behind a woman and firing at these soldiers that were
There's apparently
kind of
none of
in.
that because it was a very thick steel door and it was basically a prison and there were no weapons in the building.
And the thing that struck me as soon as it happened is I thought about Zero Dark 30. And the story itself was so constructed in a way that was good for a movie. Like the real life story that we were told made for a good movie. And
that movie came out pretty quickly too. It was like,
and then well, let's go to Conspiracy Corner just for a second. I just wonder, like, who are they contacting in Hollywood to write up these fake stories? Because you know that movie, or Ben Affleck one, Go Fuck Yourself, the Argo movie.
Oh, Argo. Yeah, that was good.
Argo Fuck Yourself, that's what I was thinking of, because that used to be the catchphrase to the movie. It kind of made me think to this Bin Laden news when it came out this week. It's like, who in the government is contacting Hollywood to make up these stories?
Well, I mean, it just didn't. I don't know what the true thing is.
We don't know if it's true. I should say that.
When all of it came out, and then some of the facts came out, like in the about or whatever the fuck it's called, but that was right beside where they had their very high level military compound where people were being really well trained and whatnot. What is it called?
The ISI.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Like that's where they're stationed out of, and it was like he was right beside there. Like how would they not know? So like that part just made a little more sense. Some of this, it's like, well, that would make more sense that they fucking were holding him and they knew about it and they didn't want to give him to us because either they were like, he's our prisoner, he's our, like,
Yeah.
that made a little more sense, but I don't know if it's true, but.
The thing that bugged me about this story that when it came out this week is the mainstream media's, they failed to take the facts it was purporting and debunk them, and it just went to straight calling the guy kind of crazy. The one CNN clip I saw, the guy for Obama, defending Obama's story, or the official story, was just like, oh, this guy clearly thinks that Obama's going to get, like, abducted by aliens and Darth Vader's going to be in the Oval Office. And, like, that's a fucking childish approach to telling the news. Like, this is a journalist who's won a Pulitzer Prize.
Yeah.
He has a history. He wrote a 10,000 word document. Like, he didn't just make this shit up. Like, he did his research.
And he really put effort into this.
He kept his sources anonymous for good reasons, because they would be in a lot of danger.
Yeah. What happened to Edward Snowden?
Yeah, they try to like kind of make him look bad, like slam him, and they're just like, nah, he's made. It's not even like, oh no, according to this report and this report are my sources. They don't have a report. They're just like, nah, this dude's making it up. Next question. Like,
let's move on. I'm
like he made it up. Like, look at him. He made it up. Look at the way. Just look at this picture of him. Like, look, he made it up. Next question.
Oh man.
That interview with him was just like.
Well, yeah, we Ronnie and I don't know if Kevin did. We both watched 45 minutes basically of him talking to Democracy Now. He's definitely a sane, salient, normal journalist, and he's very defensive about the way the media approaches stories like these and how whistleblowers are treated.
Yeah,
and
like Jeff Lee Sterling.
Sterling this week was a big news, yeah.
Which I didn't really read about his story. I don't. Have you guys read?
Was he the one that he had been leaking information to the New York Post? Was it for what was it, like 3 or 4 years? He got like 4 years in prison.
3.5.
3.5. Yeah.
He was leaking information that the U.S. was kind of going to deliberately sabotage Iran's nuclear.
Well, they were leaking
ambitions.
Secrets, yeah, because he was he had a past history of being a nuclear physicist or something, and he was giving them plans that were purposely they were fucking them up. They were wrong slightly, but a lot of it was correct.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, guys, we're still giving them like 95% of what they need, and 5% of it's wrong. But if they're really smart, they're probably gonna be able to eventually figure what are we doing here?
Once they figure out the 5% that's wrong,
then they got
the 95%. Yeah,
they're like, some of this stuff's
they're
not
only
right.
at 20%. We're already putting them at 95.
Right. It's like, what the fuck are we doing?
It's crazy.
And then he gets thrown in jail, and it's like, And he also, because he went to Congress. He tried to get Congress's help, and they wouldn't do it. They didn't do anything. They were telling him to kiss off.
Well, that's, I don't want to cut you off, but every time these whistleblowers come out, the people on the other side are like, there are ways to do this correctly. And then sometimes...
And they say they try.
Yeah, a lot of these guys have tried. Chelsea Manning, Edward Snowden not so much, but the thing with Edward Snowden is he had saw a pattern where people
that
were
was
going...
very politically correct of you, Chelsea Manning. Because wasn't it Bradley Manning?
Yeah, it was.
Because now he's Chelsea Manning.
That's all I know on that.
No, he's...
Yeah, it used to be Bradley Manning,
No,
and
he's-
then
Yeah,
That was-
sex change.
yeah.
Did he do that in prison? They
I
gave
think
him
he
a sex...
started in prison. Yeah, he was just like I think he
Was
started.
it just because he's like, I got nothing else to do, so I might as well do that?
He just,
I don't know
Is he-
why.
whatever was going on in
That's
his
such an
head.
interesting story. I can't believe you didn't know that.
Yeah, it was like he was the first person to really.
Well,
like,
I did know that, but as of lately, I haven't heard him called Bradley Manning in years.
So you
on
just
the
know
news. So I'm
Chelsea.
just like, oh, Chelsea Manning.
Ah,
But
that was good. Yeah, I would probably call him Bradley.
But the point is, Edward Snowden, I think, saw this pattern of people trying to go the right way and not getting anything done or being cut off. So that's why I still think Edward Snowden was kind of ballsy and correct for being like, if I tried to do it the right way, I just never would have been outed. So I don't know. But if he came back, it looks like he'd probably go to jail for life at this point.
Yeah.
Is that what do you think is going to happen to him?
I kind of want him to come back, and
He
then
wants to come
I'd be definitely wherever he's. If it was within driving distance, I'd probably be out there protesting. But I don't know if that would help. I'd just be like, this dude needs
I think it's,
clemency or something.
yeah, at a certain point, I think they'll look at what he did and we'll be like, like I think it will become more acceptable to side with him in the future.
It's a big generation gap in the statistics about Snowden. A lot of the older folks are like, oh, he's a fucking criminal, and a lot of people 30 and younger
My
are like,
email.
yay, Snowden.
Yeah.
Not everybody.
There's seriously such a generational divide right now. It's ridiculous
Mhm.
because a lot of us agree on fucking 98% of this shit on what needs to change, what needs to happen, and stuff like that. Like, yeah, Edward Snowden should not be in fear of his life if he comes back here. He should be a free fucking man, more like celebrated. But it's like, no, all these old fucking people like running this racket the way it is. They don't want to fix it. They like these fucking broken systems and this broken bureaucracy because it's playing pretty well to all of them. It's working out pretty well their whole life.
That seems to be the thing.
And I think we all want that too, but we all recognize that there's a lot of flaws in it. It's like, well, we need to change it. It's like, well, no, let's slow down, let's pump the brakes.
Hold on.
No, fuck it, let's just do it.
I have a weird anecdote to tell you related to my current job. I'm a court reporter, so we practice repeating people's speeches. And one of the speeches from the 90s when we were turning a surplus, but it was from a Republican and talking about, oh, we can't screw our next generation. And they're going to...
They're like, yes, we can.
And now that it's like 20 years later, I'm listening to this as I'm practicing doing a good court reporting, whatever.
They've been talking about this for a while.
And I'm just like, this was 20 years ago, and now it just seems like such bullshit. And they were the conservatives, it's just like, not that I'm dissing conservatives, Rodney, I don't want you to punch me. But
I think I'm not like a...
I know, but I like to
You
keep
like
up
to
this
just keep
false conflict to keep our listener interested.
Right in the fucking nose.
Fuck you, Rodney!
Fuck you, Kevin. He's not even involved.
No, I was just thinking. I just remember that story that came up in the news where I think it was in Vermont or New Hampshire where they tried electing the state bird or state predator, and like it was a fourth grade class wrote the bill. This was in the news for a little bit. The fourth grade class.
I have no idea. I
fourth grade class was supposed to be. Sorry, it was like basically it was a fourth grade class, elementary school class. Like they were like, okay, kids are gonna like write this bill, and it's gonna make the like osprey. The ospreys are gonna be like the official state predator of like New Hampshire, I think it was. And they're like, and you kids are gonna learn how the political process works. And so they took it to like Congress. They all went to the Capitol.
All killed themselves.
They all went to
Drank the Kool-Aid.
They all went like, and they passed like whatever the environmental committee, and then like it got to the floor to vote on it. And you'd think like, oh, fourth grade class here to learn. We're gonna vote it through, new state predator. And like some dudes just came out so hard against it. They were like, "This is a waste of time. Why are we talking about this?" One dude's like, "This is a vicious bird. It should be." Now again, 4th grade kids there. They're like, "This vicious bird should be the mascot for Planned Parenthood with its vicious talons." And people were like, "What?" Like again, 4th grade class they were watching. They were just like, one dude came out was just like,
Is this on video?
Yeah, you can watch it. It's on video. And they're just like, they're like, we're wasting our time with this bill. Next thing you know, we're voting on the state hot dog. Voted it down.
Oh.
It didn't pass. All in front of these kids. And all the teachers and principal were there like we don't really know.
This is like government.
This is the end of democracy. We have just witnessed the end of
Yeah, they
democracy.
were just like, well, I guess they learned about it today. Like, you learn how things go.
Next thing we do
But they
is get out
lost.
the pitchforks and the nooses.
They just
This is the
lost.
end of
Like, I never would have. It was ridiculous. I don't think I ever would have.
Sign of the Apocalypse #4.
I mean, I could see them turning it down, just like giving them constructive feedback, maybe why they just didn't want to do it, and being very nice and like, oh,
The abortion thing, though.
Yeah, to break out an abortion like reference was
it's like
pretty.
really politicizing it.
Yeah,
Really?
really.
It's an osprey. It's not political at fucking all. These are
Yeah, it was
fourth
like a
graders.
falcon or something. But yeah, to do that in front of 4th graders, like, did his staffer not explain to him? That there was this-
pro-life or pro-choice, motherfucker?
Did he not? Like, you know what it's like? Did no one explain to their staffers like, oh, this bill was written by 4th graders. They're here to like watch their bill get passed. So just go ahead and vote yes.
What if one, like, congressperson or whatever you call it, gets up to the stand and is like, "What the fuck is wrong with we have children over here.
Yeah,
We
it's
just
just
want to
fine.
get this fucking bird
Yeah,
on the
like
flag."
no one up there was like,
And then you see
people.
him just get escorted out.
Oh, yeah, someone just walks over. Hey guys,
That's
like no one
part
pulled
of
that
the night.
move. Like, be like, hey, listen, this is here for a
Should be
4th
Chris
grade
Farley.
class. Like, so again, let's just go ahead and pass this. Remember, like, class wrote the bill.
Wink, nudge.
You mean, hey guys, we need to get this done. This is a real thing. Like, we're here for the kids. Like, let's go ahead and do that. All
Clearly
right.
not. Clearly, they wanted to show who
Yeah.
the real big dick of the
I
ring
know.
was.
That's what was like.
You're like, you're not gonna trick us with your cuteness. Fuck you and go back to class.
Dude, I just can't believe no one got up there and was like, yo, like, let's wrap it up, get them on the bus, like, get them home, and they can all clap and celebrate and take the thing
They
back.
all
Like,
take a nap at
and,
4.
and then they went and voted it, and then it was like, they were like, no, fuck them, like, fuck that. Like,
I'll watch that later.
Yeah,
I'll
that's-
enjoy that.
That's pretty
Oh.
amazing. You know, terrible.
And that's when those children got radicalized.
yeah, that's when I'm like, this shit's going down.
Like, I hate America.
Well, one thing I wanted to ask Mr. Rodney here. I know he's not exactly a fan of Jeb Bush, but Jeb Bush today came out and said, "I would not invade Iraq if we had the information that we had today."
Well, duh.
Being our conservative go-to guy.
What? That they had nothing to do with Al Qaeda. That they had no weapons of mass destruction. That it was a complete.
This is a big story to people because he's dissing his brother, right? You know, he's dissing the family.
He's not.
Not
I don't think
really.
He's really dissing his brother because they just used that they got bad information and I mean.
Yeah, I mean, he said, like, yeah, if you know today, where it's like, if you would have told me back then that it just would have, like, been really unpopular after 13 years and we still would be there, like, I probably wouldn't have done it. And we'd be like, that's reasonable. Like, that's a reasonable answer to that.
Especially in considering it destabilized the region and created a much larger, much more terrifying threat in ISIS.
We're still not out of there. So it's like,
It's
There's
like,
a bunch of people this week blaming Cheney for. I like how they got their Cheney. They're like, oh, Cheney is definitely responsible for creating ISIS now.
yeah, I mean,
I mean, a lot of big companies, I'm sure, love war when they make a lot of money
Yeah.
off war.
I saw the Pope came out and condemned it, and it was just basically like, hey, like, there's a lot of people getting really rich from war. Like, let's take a look at that.
You said who?
The Pope.
I thought that's right.
I like the
I was
Pope.
gonna say, I
I'm
like
not
the new
Catholic,
Pope.
but I really enjoy this new
This
Pope.
Pope is a lot cooler than a
He
lot
seems
of
to
the
be
old
making a lot of
creepy ones.
sense. Like, yeah, he's not so creepy. He seems a lot more
He
humble.
wasn't. I don't think he was touching little boys like the last.
The last
one.
guy was definitely doing something weird, right? You just saw like how
Dude, I think a lot of those
opulent he
guys
was?
were
He was
fucking-
creepy.
I think a lot of those guys knew what the fuck was going on with that shit and covered it up. So it's like
I
anyone,
think to be Pope, like, you can't like, you gotta be a little crazy, right?
yeah, even the one now, even though he sounds a little cool, he still seems a little creepy wearing those robes and stuff. Like, how cool would it be if he just came out in jeans?
I mean, last
and a
time,
fucking like polo shirt, just kind of doing the belt. Maybe he's still like
You were, like,
maybe he's like
fit.
Flanders. He has the white hair, but Flanders look.
Hello.
It's like the V-neck
He looks
sweater.
very
And he's just like-
grandfatherly.
And he's just like, hello, I am the Pope. But I am just like.
But the last one was just so
I
over
like
the top.
that.
He had
I
a
like that,
scepter and he had a big chair made.
Like,
and, like
safe.
always wore big
What if he
hats.
was like the Mr. Rogers of popes?
Oh,
And it's just like he didn't have the crazy fancy chair. He just had like the little leather.
This one does. He's got a normal chair to sit on.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, he doesn't do the bubble
The
anymore.
V-neck's coming then.
Yeah.
Maybe the V-neck's coming.
What if he has like white sneakers, white Velcro sneakers, and just toddles around? them?
Velcro?
Yeah.
He's an old man.
I guess you can rock Velcro.
I think Velcro is a little more humble than
What if
this
he had
is.
Crocs?
Green.
That would be the
Fluorescent
best. That would be the
Crocs.
most humble thing to wear.
He's
Crocs.
like, they're comfortable.
They're
I
very
can wear them in the
functional.
shower.
Yeah.
I never take them off.
I don't slip.
They're
I'm
incredibly
gonna
functional
outlive
garment.
most of the other popes because I'm not going to slip in
But
the
yeah,
shower.
that last pope, he was the first pope to step down in like 600 years.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it
And you
happened.
wonder why, right?
Can I just
Yeah.
add that when he did that, lightning struck the Vatican?
Really?
It's a real story. You can look that up. When that happened, it creeped me the fuck out. I had to throw that out there. Sorry. No.
But he was really. There was some really
He
creepy
just
going
creeped
on.
me out. I was just like, oh.
There was a lot of creepy stuff going on. I think he. I don't know. It was just weird. There was like a lot of creepy stuff. Like let's bring down the not so creepy guy.
This guy's a fucking.
What I did like today, or recently, I read, he also, the new pope, recognized Palestine as a state,
I did see that.
I saw
which
that as well.
he keeps kicking ass. I feel like he's like a liberal pope, because I don't know, the Christian community I think needs to go liberal, personally, because I'm a liberal, obviously. But
Everyone needs to agree with their.
exactly.
I feel like he's kind of just given Catholics the permission to hold accepted views.
There you go. That's probably a better way.
He just kind of came in and it was like, let's try to, and he just phrased it very simply, like, let's just try to accept everybody. Like, let's.
Well, we've talked. I mean, you brought that up at that one wedding we were all at recently when one of our other friends was talking. It's like religions need to recognize that they need to continue to evolve. This idea that they have figured out all of the truths through. Like they need to continue to evolve. So like yes.
Everyone was, I felt what I was trying to say that night, specifically in my drunken rage.
You say drunken rage. I
Yeah.
didn't think you were mad at all.
No, I
I
wasn't.
remember later you're like, I think there was a rift between us after that.
Well, I was like, why did I say that at a wedding? But I just had to be like,
I think I fist pumped you.
you did fist bump me.
I was like, you're right.
But what it was is people don't understand what they're, if they believe in something beyond, they don't understand what they're touching or developing or interacting with or making rules about.
Right.
And as we get more intelligent as human beings, brains develop and we get more information, we learn science. Like, I don't think science is evil, and I hate the Christians who are like, oh, science is evil.
Dinosaurs were putting to test our faith.
You just have to understand the spiritual world is hard to grasp. You learn more, and therefore your spiritual viewpoint of the world, or religion, if that's what you might call it, will change and grow too.
Right, it should. But if you don't give it that space to grow, like if you have this fucking like this is what it is, fucking you have to hate gay people. You have to condemn certain regions of the world to fucking burn forever. Like, you have to hate all other religions. Like it's just like what the
It is.
fuck?
Yeah, and you're just sort of like, yeah, it is. Sometimes when I'm at work and people start talking about religion, it's very, very uncomfortable. Like, there's a very, very.
It can be, yeah. It depends. It can be really intense.
We have an area in Leola. I spent a lot of time out there, and it's like there's a lot of like Amish and Mennonite people.
Mm-hmm.
So people are just generally very religious in general. Like it's a very, like the store closes on Sunday. Like I mean, we deal with the Mennonites and Amish a lot. Oddly enough, in cell phone sales,
Well,
That's
it's
really
just Mennonites, right? I don't think Amish can.
they can have home phones.
Amish?
Yeah.
Cell phones? Not even just hardwired? They now can.
They can have.
Amish?
Yeah, the Amish can
Are
have
you
cell
sure
phones.
Amish?
100% sure.
Amish.
100% sure about this. They're allowed to have
They're
home
evolving.
phones.
Breaking news on Whiskey
I'll
and
put it this
Wifi.
way: it's
I
been.
think that's bullshit.
They're allowed to have home phones, so we sell a home phone service.
For
so-
emergencies, like we don't want to die of a heart attack.
They
We'll
just
call
have
an
it.
ambulance.
They just have it and use it.
That's so weird.
They just have. It's like the home phone
Like the
thing.
Mennonites, I get. Like I call in some Mennonite companies, and they're like totally like modernized.
Yeah, like some of the, I think like I've noticed a lot of the younger like business, I don't want to say business owning Amish, but the Amish that seem to be kind of like in charge of some aspect of something. The younger ones tend to have cell phones, and they have cell phones that they give to people that work for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess like through one arrangement or another, they're allowed to use. I guess they're allowed to use technology in order to stay competitive and like, because if you were just not present, like if you just had no telephone, or you didn't have access. It's not like they're on Facebook and Twitter, but if you didn't have access to like be able to access information, you would be hurting.
Oh yeah.
So it's like they just kind of look at it as a tool, like you would a hammer or a saw. And I think as long as they're not using it for ridiculous purposes, like more just purely entertainment.
That's how it starts. That's how the devil gets you.
That's how the devil gets his teeth in you.
That's true.
So you should see the, oh, I need this as a tool. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, when you told me that a few weeks ago, I was very surprised, but I'm happy they're doing it, to be honest. I'm like, yeah, okay.
They're nice people. Some of them are awkward. Like they're just not used to being around people, so they don't really have any tact.
Yeah.
Or like they'll just kind of be very blunt and direct, and it's sort of it's off-putting to just see them not be like if they're having an issue with a piece of equipment, instead of saying like, hey, you know, like the average person's, hey, listen, I was doing this, this, and this, and this seemed to be happening, so I was wondering, blah blah blah, and kind of a conversation, they just come in, they're like, this is not working. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, and you're kind of like, you'll be like, kind of watching out of the corner of my eye, what's going on? They're like, this is, and they're like, well, what doesn't work? And like those, you have to like, it's a very, like, it's a very weird exchange to watch. And it's not that they're upset or angry. It's just like they just aren't very socialized.
Yeah, it's very interesting when you, I try to sell to them, like, and develop packaging solutions with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
You'll have this, and yeah, it's sort of like, I feel like you have to take a couple steps back.
Yeah, I just kind of like, okay.
Tales from Pennsylvania, working with the Amish.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, it's interesting. You're just kind of like, wow.
They're really
guys-
nice people.
Very
It's-
nice.
Yeah, the
It's very
communication's
interesting that they, you know, I feel like the people who don't grow up around here, the idea of Amish people existing is such a foreign
I'm
concept.
starting to think that they fucking like are. If things ever would get bad, they would be so much better off than most of us. Like,
Yeah.
They kind of have things figured out. They know how to be really resourceful. They know how to make things, and they have these tight knit communities that they kind of have things down. Like they have farms with like animals. You know,
They have
like
leadership
they have cattle on the
roles,
hoof.
like-
yeah, they have farms with crops. Yeah, it's like fuck.
They have weird alien costumes from the movie The Village.
That's true.
I don't know if you saw The Village.
Hey, enough of that.
Spoiler alert, The Village is about Amish people, pretty
They
much.
really wear alien costumes?
Well, they don't want people to leave their area, so when they go out in the woods, they dress up in these weird, they look like alien costumes to me, and they scare them back. So that's what that reference was.
So when they go, but don't some people disappear or some shit?
Well, some people break away.
Oh, they just get out and they
Yeah.
just say they disappeared.
The
The
main
aliens got 'em.
character is just like, yeah.
The aliens got them.
Like, the main character at one point sees like a plane fly overhead and realizes, oh, there's a world beyond this. I think, if I remember correctly.
I don't know, but I think it's a very, very good movie. Very good. Sorry.
It's like it's very good.
Well, it's called a movie.
Very good.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, everybody.
It's kind of, yeah, it was good. Have you seen it?
I think I have.
Where you're under the impression that it's like an old-timey village, and then all of a sudden you just realize, no, it's
Trapped
real.
in time.
No, I mean, they've just purposely lived like Amish people, basically cut off from society. Like the whole time you're thinking it's like some post-apocalyptic town, like living in the
It's
middle
like,
of
no,
nowhere. And it turns out like no, they're just people living in the middle of the forest where no one can find them in like 2002 America.
Yeah.
I sometimes fucking fantasize about living in a community that's kind of like that. Just unplugged. Not completely unplugged. Like, I still want the internet so I can listen to the news and connect with people. Like, I wouldn't want to be like unplugged, but just like having like a little area where you like you have a lot of your
Self-sufficient.
family and friends that like, yeah, where it's like you're good, like you have everything you need, but it's just quieter.
I feel like we can get there with the
It'd be hard to
If
buy land. to do
renewable
There's a show on Discovery Channel I believe,
energy.
that. The
about like
battery.
people in Alaska that do that.
Yeah, that would be a little too far off.
They just have their own thing.
It's
Like, I'd be down to still do that in Pennsylvania, like just like have a
Mm.
fucking nice area, like several acres, and you're just like, all right, got a cool little setup here. Have like this nice little stream.
Do you think you could do that in Pennsylvania?
Oh, I'm sure there are people that are to a degree.
Is there like planned community rules? Or do you, like, you can just plan a community and like,
Number one,
Set
gotta wear
rules.
pants. Gotta wear pants.
Wear pants outside.
Wear pants
Not
outside.
pants. At least a loincloth.
Just pants. If you don't think they're pants, they're not pants.
If
If you're not sure, don't
the
wear
front is
them.
not connected to the back.
Yeah, it's just one of those, like, if there's any doubt at all, they're probably not pants, don't wear them.
let's be smart about this, guys.
Let's just not fucking ruin it.
So stop wearing pants.
I'm the first one to ruin it.
Damn.
Hey guys! Like, oh, he's
Damn
naked
it.
again.
Damn,
We
he's
gotta
not
kick him
wearing-
out.
Come on,
I do it
man.
when I'm drunk, but you're always
You're
drunk.
always drunk,
I feel like that's what I would do. If I had my own
Please
thing,
don't.
if I didn't have to go to work, I feel like I like just was like chill, I'd probably just drink a lot more.
Really?
I feel like it's my retirement.
I don't like
issue.
being-
Oh, whiskey all the time.
I feel like I would just kind of get into the zone where I just constantly be having like a drink or two. Like just like in the morning.
You wouldn't be hungover if you're always drunk, right?
Just
That's
like in
how
the
it works.
morning, have like a scotch or something in the morning, like you would with your coffee, and then you could just go about your day. And then maybe have like another like heavy scotch at lunch with like an energy with like a Red Bull maybe.
Hey,
And then like once
Have you
like
been watching Mad Men?
that's I guess what I want to do is
You're
really
gonna
just
go
kinda-
back in time.
Yeah.
but all those guys died in their 50s
Did they?
in real life.
Oh, I
You
was
know
like,
what
The
though?
ones that existed.
You know
then
what
we didn't.
I
though?
was like, I thought you just ruined Mad Men. I was like, they all died.
Like,
Sorry, no.
my dad said this to me like the other night. He was like, it was like a weekend or two ago. We were just talking. He's like how he still goes on runs and stuff and still like kind of pushes it because we had that Dollars for Scholars run
Yeah.
and he ran down from their house to that
Oh,
like to
damn.
volunteer. Like I'm like driving through and there he is.
Shit.
I'm like-
That's a long distance.
I'm like good for him. All right.
yeah.
And like that night, like or later that week, we were having dinner. He's like, yeah. He's like, I'd rather someone pick me up off the side of the road than slowly die in a nursing home. And I was like,
That's
you know what?
true.
There's kind of a wisdom to that. Like people that just go out with their boots on, and, like they lived a long life, and like people are like, oh, they died so young. But it's like then there's those people that you see just waste away in nursing homes, and it's like really sad. And you're like, how do you like? I don't know how. I mean, I don't want to die soon, but like I also don't think I want to be like.
You will. No, I'm just kidding.
Please not conclude. Please not conclude.
I just wanted to see your face react to that. That's the only reason I said that, just to creep you out.
Oh God! If I drop dead sometime soon,
No,
that's
you
really
won't.
creepy.
You
or if
won't.
I
I
get
was
like hit
watching,
by a bus,
You won't. You're fine.
you're fine. All of a sudden the roof just falls at me.
Oh shit. My bad. I just yell at your corpse.
Kool-Aid
I
Man.
tell my parents. So
I don't know what just happened.
The Kool-Aid Man runs in and just fucks you up.
he just fucking picks me up and throws me in the
Yeah,
Kool-Aid.
just drowns you in himself, and then runs
Get
off.
out of here! It's the Kool-Aid's
Yeah,
too low for me to jump out.
It's too high.
Oh man.
Yeah, but sometimes I watch movies like Braveheart, or like movies like in that time period, and you see dudes they're just running into battle with a sword, and you're just like, you're gonna die. And like you look at it, you just go, like, but what? Like, and this sounds pretty bad, but like,
shit's still going on though.
but what did they have to live? Like, you know, it's like, what's best case scenario? It's like you
I
get
don't know.
old and die, like really
They're
crappily,
pussy.
like. But I mean, they're already like in their
True.
30s. They're already in their 30s and 40s. It's like things have already started going downhill for them. Like they're, you know what I mean? It's like,
Dude, I mean, I get you. Things were definitely harder, but it doesn't mean you want to get hacked to death in a field.
but I'm not saying you want to. But I'm saying you have the chance to do something really cool. Like, oh man, I killed a bunch of people in battle. Like,
I lost my legs.
but at least people look at you like that dude lost his leg, like fucking killing people. He survived.
No,
like,
I don't want that.
he's grizzled. He is
I
55.
don't think you can glorify war. I don't think that's something that gets glorified.
But that's the thing. Out there in the Middle East, they are glorifying it, which is why we have this fucking ISIS problem, because they don't have much to live for, right? They're just going out there because
Well, they're also doing a lot of drugs, aren't they?
that's what doesn't
Aren't they
get
giving me a
reported a lot.
fuckload of drugs?
They have to report the bad religion, but none of them are very correctly religious anyway. It's like,
I think a
What-
lot less of them have to do.
okay, let's say like a bunch of Christians got coked up and started killing. Who do Christians hate? I don't know. I don't want
Black people.
Protestants.
black people or Protestants or anyway. They go out killing people because of this weird religious view.
Protestants versus.
You know,
Or-
they would report that these fucking people were on drugs. They wouldn't say, "Oh, they're Christians."
Oh yeah, I got you. It's just we
It's
sort of
like-
define the terrorists by like them being Muslim or
Yeah,
Pakistani.
that's where I'm going.
Instead of like, oh, it's a white guy. Oh, this white Christian terrorist.
Yeah. it seems like they report, oh, well, ISIS, to be honest though, I shouldn't do that because ISIS wants to be known as a religious organization. They had jihad, that whole thing too, but.
They're the caliphate.
Anyway, the point is, that's all they have to live for. That's where this all started. At least that's what they think. So in that way, going out and dying and getting hacked to death or blowing themselves up.
Well, the same thing, like whenever you see like there's like a mass shooting, which is terrible, and it's like, you know, you talk about, you know, like we use the term like terrorist, or just like all these gang problems, or like terrorism, but it's a way to you're always like, we need to talk about mental health in this country.
Yeah.
And why, and so whenever it's a way to, there always like the mental health question always comes up, but it's never like anyone else. It's always like thug, terrorist. Do you ever?
Well, I think our foreign policy and things that are going overseas are a little different than what's going on here in this country with
True.
gun control and violence on each other. I mean, what do you think those are related?
I just think how we define when we see something terrible happen, we always kind of tend to, unless it's like whenever there's a white dude, we always talk about like, well, we need to have a really good conversation about mental health in this country, and sort of like, why didn't we diagnose that this person was at risk earlier? But whenever it's not a white guy, we tend to be like, oh, that was a terrorist, or that was a gang member, or that was just always some like terrible person, and we need to work on that problem.
I mean, that's definitely interesting. Yeah, the way we classify those people. Sometimes I think it's the motives behind it too, with the reason they get those different classifications.
True.
But it isn't interesting. Have there been any like minority people that have done mass killings in this country in terms of like kids, like in
That's
school
a really
settings?
good point. I feel like a lot
Like,
of
have they all been white kids?
they've been kind of white middle class. Even.
Weird white kids, yeah.
They're like come to school and just fuck a bunch of other kids up.
Anyways, and then we have that conversation about like bullying. Like that's a big one now, like bullying, and we're just like, oh, like this person, or that one guy that had the
Hey,
YouTube videos. Do you
shut-
remember him?
It's okay to bully your dogs though.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
But like, remember the one he like killed a bunch of sorority girls, and like there's like,
Yeah, the
oh,
guy out in
mental health
California.
guy, and then we were like his
Didn't he
YouTube
kill
videos.
more guys than girls? Didn't he end up murdering more dudes?
He may
than
have,
girls?
but I remember there was all these YouTube videos, and we're like, oh, like this person was at risk. Like, why didn't we diagnose this? Why don't we have these things available?
That's the thing that kind of drives me crazy is that so many people then that were around were like, oh yeah, we knew he was fucking having a tough time. We knew he was like getting picked on and he was sad all the time. It's like, what the fuck? Why didn't any of you guys help him before it got...
Oh yeah, no, I definitely agree with you because I've always said, like, if you see somebody, we have this weird thing, like you want to give people their privacy and their intimacy, but we have this, we kind of set up a wall where it's like not even cool to say, hey, how are you doing anymore? Like,
yeah, it's like, hey, leave me alone.
yeah, you were just like, I'm gonna leave this person alone because that's what's courtesy, that's the courtesy that you give them. But at some point, I feel like you can say, hey, how are you doing? And just if they don't respond like normally. Be like, oh, why do you like? Oh, can I help you with something? Like, just reach out.
Dude, so often, like if I'm walking on the rail trail or walking anywhere, even like in this town, if you say hi to people so regularly, they don't say anything back.
Yeah,
And it's so fucking weird.
it's very weird.
People
to
just
me.
don't say hi. Like people just like, sometimes almost seem surprised you say hello, and it's like, that's not a good sign.
No,
I feel the same way.
fuck those bitches.
But I think it's time for us, unfortunately, to say bye at this point. At least
It's been a fun conversation.
it's been a great conversation. Thanks for talking and drinking with us, Kevin.
Yeah, good having you. Anytime you
We'll
want to
come back
be a regular.
next week. Who knows what'll be
Fuck
up?
you guys.
Is next week the weekend before Memorial Day?
Yes,
I think it is.
We may or may not do one. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what's up.
We'll see what the fuck is up.
Take care, everybody.
Hey guys, thanks for joining in.
Woo!